Welcome to Eligible Monster. This is the show where me, Dan, and Natalie sit around talking about stuff in games or doing discussions or that kind of a thing. Today's topic, what EA said at the UK Parliament. Is Parliament, right?
Yes, with their surprise mechanics.
Yes. So what we're going to do is, because there's a lot of hearsay, there's a lot of people saying this, a lot of rumors, a lot of secondary sources reporting it. We have been trying to dig in for the official report on it. Dan's going to read what he has. Natalie and I have not done that much research. Dan has, so we're going to discuss what we've got.
Yeah, so I have read some stuff about it. This article is from IGN. It is not the exact. It's not the exact stuff. It does have some quotes though of what was said. So let me read through this. EA has defended the company's use of randomized purchases, saying that they aren't actually loot boxes, but simply surprise mechanics. PC Games N reports that during an oral evidence session with the UK Parliament's Digital Culture, Media and Sport Committee, EA's VP of Legal... She's going to change the page in a second.
Move on, Dan. Come on, quicker, man.
EA's VP of Legal and Government Affairs, Kerry Hopkins, made the statement. Hopkins not only termed purchases with a random result as surprise mechanics, but also likened them to children's toys like Surprise Eggs or Hatchimals. I haven't heard of that one.
Hatchimals is that toy that we've seen at GameStop that I make fun of every time we go in there. You get an egg and it could be one of random stuffed animals inside of it.
Yeah, you definitely don't buy those.
No, I make fun of those.
I know you buy the different kind.
I think I bought one for Natalie.
Hopkins then went on to speak as to the ethics of such purchases when questioned by Scottish National Party MP Brendan O'Hara. This is a quote. We do think the way that we have implemented these kinds of mechanics, and FIFA, of course, is our big one, our FIFA Ultimate Team and our packs, is actually quite ethical and quite fun, quite enjoyable to people, Hopkins said. We do agree with the UK Gambling Commission, the Australian Gambling Commission, and many other gambling commissions that they aren't gambling. And we also disagree that there's evidence to show that it leads to gambling, she added. Instead, we think it's like many other products that people enjoy in a healthy way and like the element of surprise. No matter what you call them, done the quote. This is back to the article. No matter what you call them, loot boxes have been a big issue with many countries making decisions about their legality in recent years. Dutch and Belgium regulators recently joined the Netherlands, declaring some loot boxes illegal, which even saw companies like Nintendo remove games from the Belgian mobile market. EA commented on Belgium's decision during the session, saying they decided, the regulator, not the courts, decided that under their local law, these mechanics under certain circumstances violate the law. There's a link to the entire Parliament broadcast. It was very long, but essentially what they were saying, like with the Kinder Egg surprise, was that when you buy it for the chocolate and you get the prize inside.
Right.
One of the biggest problems with that is when you buy a loot box in a game, you're not getting the chocolate. It's just what's inside, which is gambling because you don't know what it's going to be. It's a slot machine. You could get really really lucky, get something awesome, or you can get something really crappy. Which there was another article, I thought I had it, that thought it was hilarious that they compared it to Kinder Eggs, considering Kinder Eggs are actually banned in America because of the toys being a choking hazard, actually.
Yeah. I still
For
don't
the record,
understand
just
that.
I'm going to say this because Shiva's doing it. She sees Natalie on the TV and is like...
I'm ready to be...
Sorry, that was just adorable. I had to mention it.
So their argument is that this is a fun thing. Now...
Yes, they're saying that surprise mechanics are not gambling and that they're there for the element of surprise so that when you open it, you get the enjoyment out of getting something good.
But to go back to the whole analogy, relating to like a Kinder Surprise.
Right.
Like, if you get a crappy toy in Kinder Surprise, at least you get to enjoy the chocolate.
Yeah. Exactly.
So...
Exactly.
As someone who is willing to buy certain loot crates, I do like the element of surprise. I do like going up and going, oh, I got the legendary whatever. But I like it when it's restrained to outfits.
Yes.
Or it's restrained to non-gameplay mechanics. Or it's restrained... Because, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe that this started based on the Star Wars Battlefront stuff.
Yes. That was the biggest one because of the fact that in Star Wars Battlefront 2, when it first came out, if you bought enough loot boxes, you could annihilate anyone in PvP because you simply had better stuff.
It was that, but also I think Darth Vader was the one that was like $200.
Exactly. Yes.
At
Like
the
there
very
was a
beginning? Yeah.
significant amount of money you had to put in to get certain characters that other people could not get.
Right. I mean,
Yes.
you could, but you had to grind an insane amount of hours to get
it took like thousands of hours, whereas other people can go, hey, here's my credit card, and now I got it.
Yeah, basically.
I mean, someone asked us before the show began on a Twitch channel, because this is streamed live on twitch.tv/eligible on Thursdays.
Nicely done.
They asked us, like, do we still play Overwatch? Because that was the example we used to always use on this show, is like we didn't mind Overwatch's stuff.
Yes, Overwatch we consider to have the better loot boxes because it does not affect gameplay. It just affects how cool you look.
Yeah.
Right.
Which is, I still stand by that, though. I haven't played Overwatch in like a year, but I still stand by those particular ones are okay to an extent.
Yes.
Outfits, things like that, they're fine. I don't have any issues with an outfit-based loot system.
Right.
I have played many games where they have loot crates, and I've gone in and I've bought some because I wanted to get different outfits. And there's been ones where I've been like, I don't need to.
And
Natalie, you never get loot crates for outfits.
Well, when it comes to Overwatch anyway, when you say that you don't mind the loot boxes, I don't either. That's not the reason why I personally stopped playing. The reason why I stopped playing Overwatch is because the content was just non-existent. Basically.
Well, I'm pretty sure that's why we all stopped playing Overwatch.
So
in the end.
so I'm not opposed to loot boxes though. The way they did it, that's also the loot boxes that I don't mind.
right.
I don't mind
like,
purchasing.
Because the other thing I wanted to say about the Overwatch and some other loot box, microtransaction, that kind of company have the bad luck prevention systems in play. So,
Yeah.
for example, Overwatch has it so that when you get duplicates or
Yes.
stuff like that, you get coins
credits, yeah.
so that eventually you can go, oh, this costume came
Yeah.
out. I want it. I don't want to have to buy 40 loot boxes
Yeah.
in hope that I'm going to get it. I can just use the coins from my duplicates
Right.
and buy it straight up.
There's
Some-
been times in Overwatch, for example, that I've bought the bigger pack of loot boxes because I knew that I would get enough coins to buy it if I
Yes.
didn't get it.
Exactly.
So at the end of the day, it's like, okay, I bought a bunch of loot boxes and I wanted a bunch of outfits and I got a bunch of other cosmetics, but at the end, I still have enough to buy one outfit and it's the one I wanted. So
Yes.
I still get what I was after.
Right.
Yeah.
And if you're after all of them, then welp.
Yeah,
Well,
you
you're
just
screwed.
gotta hope
That's
to
that's
get
what
lucky.
Ben was after. He was like, I want Mercy, I want Reaper, I want all these. I'm like, Ben, it's,
Because like other bad luck prevention, I know it's not a microtransaction, but I'm gonna use World of Warcraft. The way they added their loot was if you didn't get loot for a certain amount of time, your luck to get loot was drastically increased.
That's
Yeah.
good.
So you wouldn't go for a drought. Like
Yeah.
some games have that where I'll use app games for another example of if you pull enough, they'll eventually go, hey, here's a consolation prize so that you don't feel like you got completely ripped off.
Yeah. The issue comes in, and I feel like this is a lot of problems that have been recently cropping up in the gaming industry. Things that are okay then get blown way out of proportion by companies like Activision and EA.
Yes.
Where EA goes, oh, people are okay with loot boxes? Let's make it so that you have to buy them to play this game.
Yes.
And that's where it becomes bad.
It was essentially a line that was drawn, and companies consistently started going,
How
how
far
far
can we
over the
push it?"
line can we go? And Battlefront 2 was the one where they just got fully over the line and people called them out on it.
yeah.
Yeah.
And
And
'cause-
then other companies were like, oh, so that's the point
Yeah.
where the customers
See,
are just
I-
like, no.
App
sorry.
games have done this for a very long time.
Yes.
Gotcha systems all over the place. I feel like part of the reason they're not called out so badly is because there's so many of them, and a good chunk of them do it correctly.
yes.
And so like if you have a bad one, you just go, I'm not playing that game. Also, app games don't get the kind of attention that like Star Wars got.
Yes.
Because like Epic 7, I don't know what theirs. I'll use Final Fantasy BE.
Yeah.
Final Fantasy BE, the one that I play all the time,
Yeah.
gets very pay to win if you're trying to go PvP. But if you're not interested in PvP, you don't have to care about summoning anybody on
Exactly.
your team. It's only if you want to PvP, and it's very pay to win in that area.
Yeah.
It's part of the reason you and I stopped PvPing in Final Fantasy Epic Series.
Yes.
But that's not nearly as popular as something like Star Wars.
Exactly.
Star Wars is meant for kids to get into, and now you have kids with access to a parent's credit card for some stupid reason, and they're just dumping money into these games.
So you're also comparing an app game to a PlayStation 4 game. I mean,
Well,
app game,
that's exactly what I'm doing.
you're
I'm
kind of
saying,
like-
because the app games have been doing it forever,
Right,
and
right.
they've got millions of
It's-
players, but they're like it's that audience.
They're also very open about it, and I believe I'm not sure if the like loot boxes and stuff like that have happened, but there is a law that with gacha games, they have to show you the chances of
They
winning.
do. But
Like,
that's a more recent thing, I believe.
it is a more recent thing because of laws against gambling in certain locations. And that was one of like the kind of compromises where they were like, this is something that is a part of the game. This is how we fund, because that's the other thing is app games are free.
Yeah.
They fund it by doing those in-app purchases, whereas EA Battlefront 2, you had to spend $60 for the game
Yes,
itself.
that's right.
And then half the
And
game was
then-
locked behind the paywall.
Yeah,
It
exactly.
could be Vader, it could be Luke. You had to pay $200 for each of them.
Well, you could be all of the other characters, but
But-
who
but-
wants to
but-
be
but
other
they put all the
characters
iconic
when you
ones
can
behind
be?
money.
Yeah, I know.
Exactly.
I know.
That was the problem.
I know.
I mean, EA. The fact is, honestly, what EA is stating is a great argument for Overwatch. It's
Yes.
a great argument for Kinder Eggs. It's a great argument for those games where you get loot boxes that are going because we do. I know a lot of people. Houston salivates at the idea of opening up a gacha style box.
Oh, I do too.
We brought miniatures.
true.
We bought miniatures for Dungeons and Dragons, and they come in blind boxes. And I was like, "Houston, go ahead and open them," because he gets so excited.
It's like Christmas
on the
for him.
surprise element.
Yes.
Yeah.
Where him and I fight over certain things to open in the office because we both love that kind of surprise.
Yeah.
But a lot of the times, like you said, it doesn't matter. Like they aren't things that are going to be game changing to.
I don't know.
And
man.
EA took it too far.
I've never been a fan of buying something that I want to know what I'm getting. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I was never
I
a
more
fan
agree
of
with you.
element of surprise. Like I feel like if I want something, I would rather just spend more money just getting it instead of just having to spend like $500 just to try and hopefully get it. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
It's just I'm
You know,
not a big fan of it.
I got
I'm
a
not.
great example for you. So Destiny 2 had the Eververse. Part of the reason I stopped playing Destiny 2 is one, a lack of content, but two, I did not like the Eververse.
I did not.
Because honestly, I'm getting tired of these loot boxes because they've all gone away from making it just cosmetics. They've all made it like powerful weapons and guns and things like that. It's gotten to a point where it's like, I don't want to play your game anymore because you're literally making it so I have to buy your boxes. And even I'm someone who's okay with cosmetic boxes.
Okay.
Destiny 2, well, what I'm getting at is Destiny 2 just changed their entire system.
Yeah.
I've been on it since the announcements. You just go in and buy what you want. Hey, do you like this skin? Go buy it.
So I do want to mention this because I just looked at another article about like gambling. Since we are referring to Overwatch a lot, country in 2018 or in 2017, New Zealand did this, and in 2018, countries like Belgium and the Netherlands essentially said that Counter-Strike Global Offensive, Dota 2, and Overwatch were a form of gambling, and Blizzard and Valve modified the game for those specific locations so that I believe they were either removed or like the buying it was removed so you could still earn it. But they did, like even the cosmetic only ones were considered gambling in these different
I
countries.
thought one of them was completely banned from one country because of that, the addiction.
I know Fire Emblem Heroes, the app game I play, which is Fire Emblem by Nintendo,
Yep.
actually got pulled off of a couple countries when this
Yeah.
whole thing went down.
A
Yeah,
lot of
makes
a
sense.
lot of games actually did that.
So this is actually what I wanted to say about this, though. What was a pseudo okay thing to do? Still problematic. Still trying to get you to do it. Still trying to get you to spend money. But at least in the end, you were getting cosmetics. So the argument was, it's not changing my game. EA's pushed it too far.
Yes.
And in my opinion, now they've all got to go.
Yeah,
Because I'm a very firm believer in one person ruined it for everyone.
yeah.
Because that's just it. Because now the line's drawn. Well, where is it a fun surprise mechanic? And where is it you're full of shit, EA?
Yeah. Plus, another thing I kind of want to mention to compare it to gambling is, I'll use Summoner's War for an example, is it kind of gives you a little, like the surprise mechanics are cool and you sometimes don't get anything. Sometimes you get some awesome stuff. It's the fact of like, if I get some scrolls in Summoner's War and I open them, regardless of what I get, part of me is like, maybe I should spend $30 to get a couple more and continually
See,
go
that-
through.
yeah, that's where
and
the
that's the
addiction
game.
comes
Like
in, man.
exactly.
Yeah.
I refuse to go to Vegas because I know that if I went to start gambling, I wouldn't stop.
Yeah.
Because
Should I not tell you we're going to Vegas next weekend?
well, it's one of those ones where it's like you start doing it, you start opening these scrolls, and you continuously open, and you get disappointed that there's nothing.
Yep.
And then you're like, okay, well, maybe I should keep going until
Yeah.
I get
This-
something.
the next one's
and then
gonna
I'll
be it.
stop.
Yeah.
And then you get it and you're like, well, maybe I can get another one. And
Yep.
then you keep going. And
Yeah.
that's the gambling
Oh, it's not a
aspect.
problem. Yeah.
That's the gambling aspect that a lot of this is. Like, regardless of cosmetic, pay to win, game advancing, like even the cosmetic, if the coins from Overwatch weren't there and Mercy came out with a new skin, I love Mercy, as you've seen from my many shirts.
We buy him anything that has Mercy on it.
Yeah, I have the statue at home too. Like, I will continuously open and buy more boxes to get that because it's my favorite. It's the one that I want the most.
Yep.
And I would continuously buy. Like, I would lose myself in the kind of addiction of going, well, is this going to be one? Is
Well, and
gold?
that's-
Is it gold? Oh, it's not.
And
the
that's
one
what
I
I'm
want.
saying. What
And
was
that's
what was
gambling.
just a minor thing for a few people that couldn't control themselves, like you. EA is blown out of proportion. And
Yes.
now what they're going to do is they're going to draw lines into what counts as loot boxes and gambling and all those other things. And in my opinion, they all need to go now.
Yes.
Because what's going to happen is we'll have the rule, and then EA will be like, "We're just going to
Let
go
me
a little
push it, yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
They'll-
How far can
Obviously.
we push the new rule?
Exactly.
Yeah.
It like EA and Activision have ruined it. They like what was simply something that allowed for a few whales to go all in. No offense, Dan, but you're a huge whale.
I'm a
So are you,
dolphin.
dude?
Depending on the game, I'm not
Actually,
going to deny
no.
that.
Yeah,
kind
so are
of-
I'm
you.
notorious for having how much I've spent off out of NCPE. But what was once a system that was enticed to get a couple whales to spend a ton of money, and for those who are wondering, whale is a term for someone who just spends endlessly.
Yes, there's like free to play, you don't spend anything. There's dolphin where you kind of spend a decent amount but not tons.
that's why you called
And
yourself dolphin.
That's why I consider myself that, because when you compare yourself to a whale, which I looked into it, these are people that will spend $1,000+
Well,
a month.
Isn't that the guy from the Fate Grand Order?
insane.
Like he made headlines
There
for like
was- yeah.
$76,000 on gotcha systems. Like apparently he owns real estate and buys and sells.
Well, there
and
you
he's
go.
like rich.
There you go.
And he just dumped a $76,000.
I mean, if you don't know what to do with your
Yeah, I'm
money,
gonna see
though,
if I
I
can
mean,
find
can you
how
blame
much.
him? Really?
Yes, $70,000
Yep.
is how much he put
and in
the
one game too. It wasn't like he did multiple games. It was one game.
Yeah.
Was it pay to win at all, or was it just
Fate
like,
Grand Order is notoriously pay to win.
Yes.
Okay, so
It
there
is-
you go. It was for a specific purpose, though. It was not just like, well, I just want to blow some money for.
Well, it
outfits
was a
or-
combo of the two.
Okay.
Like he does say that he was doing it for specific things, but then he found himself doing it because he wanted the excitement of getting the best thing. Like,
Yeah.
and like when they release new stuff, you
dangerous,
want
man.
It is. No, it incredibly is. I actually had to lock my phone.
I know
Yeah.
you told
I
us
had to
about
have
that.
someone
yeah.
else lock my phone
Yeah.
so that I could not do it, because I reached a point where I was just going, it's easy, because you don't like
Well,
you
it's
look
what
at
happened
it
to me in that
and you
the
don't
one
realize
time in
it.
PE.
Yeah.
Final Fantasy PE, one time I spent $3,000 in 1 month, and it's because it
You
was.
said you weren't going to disclose that information.
I've said it multiple times now.
X amount in
Jesus.
1 month.
The reason was it was linked to my credit card and not the bank account.
Oh,
So I
right.
wasn't tracking what was.
Yes.
I would just go, oh yeah, whatever. Oh yeah, whatever. Oh yeah, and I wasn't thinking about it. And then the
good.
bill came in at the end of the month. I was like, what the hell?
Yeah. Plus, it's one of those ones
And then I
where
gotta pay a credit card back down. And I'm like, what did you buy with the credit card? Characters in Final Fantasy.
and the worst part, I believe you didn't even get one of the characters you really
I
wanted.
know. I remember that. I didn't get the character I wanted, which is why I kept doing it. And then
so
and
sad.
that was why we
Exactly.
locked. And that was
This
why we
is what
locked
I
me out of the game for
said.
so long, because I was like, I can't have this.
Yeah.
And that was also
This is-
how I learned to control myself with the app games and go, oh yeah, even if it's on a credit card, you should probably keep track of what you're spending.
Yeah.
Up until Assassin's Creed came out and did the exact same
I didn't do
thing.
Assassin's Creed. No, Assassin's Creed had a monthly fee thing. I did that and then bought one pack, and that was the end of that.
Either way, though, this is
Yeah.
why I'm saying I would rather pay a flat fee and just get what I want instead
Yeah.
of just constantly spending money until you just reach to the point where you're like, well, I got what I wanted,
Yeah.
but now
Yeah.
what else can
Plus,
I get?
it's too easy and convenient. Like
Yeah.
it's too easy to look at a value on your phone and go, your brain just doesn't fully register how much it is at the time.
Exactly what I was doing, 'cause
Like
you're like,
I've done
$100.
stuff where I go, even just $30, I would
Jesus,
do
Ben.
that.
Okay.
And then I would go to like Target to buy new bowls, and I see it for like $30. I'm like, I'm not gonna spend that.
I know.
Not for these bowls that I'm going to continuously use and know exactly what I'm getting. Hell no. I'm going to buy something that I'm going to open all these scrolls and then be incredibly disappointed.
Jesus, Dan. And this is
I
why he
had a
never
problem.
eats.
I had a problem.
And what about now, though? Are you?
Now I am better.
Is it in check?
I have times where I
I cut my spending in half, so there's that.
What I'm getting at, though, in the discussion of this is they've gone too far with it. I
Yes.
feel that all of them need to go now.
It has fully become gambling.
Yep.
And
EA did it. Activision wasn't helping with how they wanted to do Destiny and how they wanted to do Call of Duty.
Yeah.
Call of Duty.
God, dude.
EA just stopped being credible to me after they got rid of the best goddamn teams that developed the best games from this
EA's
company.
business model is like
I don't
so
understand this.
messed up.
Like, could you imagine another Dead Space coming out?
Yeah.
Like, that would have been incredible, and they just got rid of the freaking team. Like, why? That was.
You would have thought it would be
and
incredible.
Mass
Then it would
Effect.
come out. You'd be like, oh, this is a
Why
disappointment.
would you ruin Mass Effect just to get that goddamn
That's
Destiny
EA.
clone
EA's
out?
become. I mean, they used to be an okay company, and then they become worse and worse every year.
Yeah.
Like,
Yep.
why are you even arguing about loot crates? Let's ask that question. Why don't you
Right.
just go? All right, well, it went too far.
They're also
Yeah.
the same company that claimed that single player games were dead.
Well, this is also the same company that they've gone through multiple years where they're like, well, every game didn't earn us money, but FIFA cards
Yeah,
support
man.
our entire business model.
Yeah.
Exactly. And that once again brings us back to the gambling, because that was their biggest argument, was the FIFA cards. Like, that was the biggest one that kind of brought this to the forefront.
Right.
In addition to
Well, and they've been
Battlefront
doing it for
2.
years. in FIFA.
Exactly. Like, FIFA has been a continuous one. And I think the most
I guess that's why they're arguing it, because
Yeah.
it's their biggest business model.
the most insulting thing about this is the fact that they call it surprise mechanics that people enjoy and exclude the fact, like, if it was something you didn't pay for, I completely agree. It's the fact that you got to pay for them that makes it gambling.
Yeah.
So
Natalie, you want to add anything less to this?
I lost faith in EA a long time ago, man. Not even Battlefront, just way before then. I was like, they're just heading downhill now.
Oh,
They're
they've
just trying to
been
get
down
money
here.
out of you. Same thing as Activision, really. So
Well, I mean, once they found FIFA worked, they've just been going down.
no,
They're like,
absolutely.
it makes us all the money.
Yeah.
Let's keep
Yeah.
doing that again over and over and over and over and over.
yeah.
Yeah.
And they just proved my points, going with Battlefront 2, then ruining Mass Effect, then just focusing their entire teams on the game that I knew was not going to work.
yeah.
I mean, I'm not surprised, honestly, by any of this.
You know, another one it reminds me of is also the South Park episode. I'm not sure if you guys remember this. Terrence and Philip come up with this app game, and it's designed to push gambling on.
Children.
Yeah,
Yeah, I remember.
I
that
can't
one.
remember who it is. It's not Stan.
It was pretty much the same argument.
It was one where it was like it caused addiction to gambling, and it promoted pushing, like, because it was not only, hey, here's some stuff, it was, oh, you haven't bought in a while, here's some free stuff to get you back into the gambling.
Games
That's
do
what,
that.
that's what
Exactly.
they do, yes.
It's exactly what they
absolutely.
do, and that's one of the biggest
I
problems.
mean, greatest example, because I've already said, as
like
much
the
as I
login
love the
bonuses.
login bonuses,
Yeah.
as much as I love Final Fantasy B, and I do like it, it is 100% a cash grab game. Because what they do is go, here's your free heroes. They're the Final Fantasy Xevious heroes, but
Yep.
here's Aerith, and here's Cloud, and here's Noctis. And what they do is they go, for super cheap, you can get one crystal. It is a shot at getting lightning.
Yeah.
But did you not get her? Okay, well, over here for 5,000 crystals.
Yep.
Which is like, I'd say
But
20 bucks or
a
something.
step-up system as well, that you do the 5,000,
I hate
then you
the
do
step-up
5 of
systems.
them of 5,000 each, and then you have a chance at one of the two.
What
But
I
you're
hate
not
the
gonna
most
get
about the
one you
step-up
want.
systems is they're always conveniently a little bit more than you can do with $100 you have to buy twice.
Yes.
It's all about manipulating the system.
Exactly.
I've only ever done the step-up system once. It was like last week. But
Holy
it
crap.
was Aerith. I wanted Aerith. Luckily, I got 4 of them and just maxed her out and called it good. I was like,
Jesus.
woo, that could have been dangerous.
What the hell, man?
Well, I got Cloud, I needed Aerith, and then they kissed.
But yeah, that's
It was funny. I was actually in our app game discussion on the Discord, and I'd be like, got 1. And I was tagging the app game people. I'm like, got 2.
Right.
Got 3. And then the step up completed. I'm like, got 4. Woo, that could have been dangerous as
Right.
hell.
yeah. My trick to overcoming my addiction is I now watch streamers that summon for other people.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
So I get
That's
the
what people
excitement of
do.
other people. Which, for the
Absolutely.
record, when you see the amount that these people have, those are the kind of people that made me go, oh yeah, I'm a dolphin, not a whale. 'Cause holy
Oh, I agree.
crap.
As much as I find it funny how much I spent, other than the 1 month I lost track of it was on a credit card, I have not actually spent that much. Like Fire Emblem Heroes, a maximum since the game came out, I think I've spent like $300, which is still not great, and I'm aware of that.
Yeah.
In BE, I locked myself out of buying stuff until Aerith came out. I was like, all right, we're breaking the lock. Remember the day I reset all the passwords and everything?
I remember.
Oh God.
I remember. And I went, why did you change them? And he goes, well, I spent a lot of money in Final Fantasy Brave Xavier, so I needed to change them.
No. I said I wanted to spend money on Final Fantasy Brave Exvius, but I was locked out intentionally. But since I have the master password, I went and changed everything.
So
Ben, you have a problem.
No,
We
I
need
got
a
Aerith in one go, so
we
we're
need
safe.
a goddamn
We're safe.
intervention,
Anyway,
dude.
kind of bringing it all the way around.
Yes.
In conclusion, it is gambling.
Yeah.
Well,
Calling it
100%.
surprise mechanics and trying to make it ethical in that manner is honestly insulting.
Yeah.
Because it's essentially them going, we want to feel okay with manipulating
Yeah, basically,
people
yeah.
with a gambling addiction.
And you know what I think makes it the worst? I'll end with this note too, because I'm just not really thinking about this. The fact is this: Final Fantasy Brave Exvius is not geared for children. It's geared for adults. We're conscious of what we're spending.
Yeah.
Summoner's War, while it has some cartoony characters, is not easy enough to get into as a child and spend money. You have to go through an entire bunch of tutorials and stuff like that. A 10-year-old's not doing it, but Star Wars Battlefront, you could hit one button and go into loot crates.
Or Call of Duty.
And that is where EA and Activision are screwing up. Because you know what? You want to cater to me on Final Fantasy Brave Exvius. You want me to spend a little bit of money on Aerith. I'm an adult. I know what I'm doing. Some people have addictions and things like that, but you can't cater to every single addiction. Fine. You want to give me Aerith and you want to bury it in your game. I'm cool with that.
Yeah.
And I know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
But a 12-year-old who just wants to play Vader does not.
No.
And that's my problem with what EA and Activision have started doing. Same thing with Destiny when they were doing the loot crates, because what turned into just we're gonna do a little bit of gambling with the adults. We're gonna give you some costumes. We're gonna bury it in the game, put it behind some tutorials. Turned into EA going, welcome to Battlefront. You want cool stuff?
Yeah.
Come on, children.
You want half the game? You
That's
gotta
the EA
spend
problem.
extra.
That is the biggest issue I have with what they're doing and why this needs to end, because they turned it away from just being conscious adults who know what they're spending, and you can judge me all you want for what I spent, but I knew what I was doing for the most part, other than that 1 month. To we're catering to children. What's next? EA's going to come out with the Teletubby game, try to get the 5-year-olds.
Yeah, if you want the red Teletubby, you got to spend this
Yeah.
much money to hope you get
Yeah, but
it.
at that point, it's going to be on the parents, though. I mean, it's not going to be on the kid.
Well,
It's gonna be on the
I would
parents.
agree with that, except from the fact that there have been a lot of things where parents are not aware that their child got the card and they can't refund.
Yeah.
That's the whole point to the South Park episode,
Yeah, but
is
then
that
it's a
the parents don't know.
It's a completely different argument, though. Shouldn't the parents know at this point and
yes,
stuff
they
like that?
see. It's one of those ones where it's like, yes, they should, but at the same time, it's the matter of fact that it's too easy for the child to do it without them knowing.
Yeah.
So, but that kind of brings us to the end of this episode. I mean, there's not too much else to say.
How long did we go? That was a long
We're
one.
at 27 minutes.
Oh, okay. It's not too bad.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
thank you guys for watching this episode of an Eligible Monster discussion. If you want to find more of Natalie, she's on Twitter and Twitch at Zodical Candy. You can find Benny at Comicstorian or at Benny's Beard.
Benny's beard? Are you serious? Is that
That's what I renamed the other one, yeah.
Yeah.
Because I named my Instagram thing Benny's Bearded Workouts.
my God, Ben?
Look
find
at the
him-
beard!
You can find him there or on twitch.tv/eligiblemonster, where we do film these podcasts live every Monday and Thursday. We do podcasts. And other days during the week, you can find Benny playing other different kind of games. You can also find me on Twitter at DanTProducer or on Twitch at DanTStreamer. And thank you guys for watching. We'll see you next time.
Thank you.